My name's Eli, and I'm the NetSquared Community Manager, which is a program of Techsoup. And so these NetSquared affiliated groups are part of this global network of meetups. There's actually about 120 of them scattered across 41 countries. Each one of them are led by a team of local champions, people like Carolyn, people like Sean, people like Nevin, people like Dale, who come together to build the tech for good skills of the nonprofit and charitable sector. And if you haven't run into Techsoup yet, I should tell you about them. So before I do that though, let me tell you the rules. Every community has rules and values that bring them together. Here within the NetSquared affiliated world, we have some of them which includes we welcome everyone. We put community first, which means we're really here to support each other. We're here to build stronger nonprofit organizations. So technology is the lens, the tool we use for these conversations. But ultimately, we're not here about technology as much as we are here about making nonprofits succeed. Most important for me is we invite participation. Everyone has something to learn and contribute, and this whole group is run by volunteers and passionate community members who are willing to share their skills. That could be you. If you're curious at all, get into that chat window and talk to Carolyn. And then finally, we treat each other with kindness and respect. And that's a good reminder to say, one, we're all volunteers and passionate community members. And two, before you type something to that chat window, just take a moment to say, am I saying this in the kindest, most empathetic way I can? And if the answer is yes, go ahead, chat away. As I said, we totally need your help to make these groups thrive and succeed. So if you've got a great event idea, if you want to come and get involved and contribute to the group, maybe as a note taker, maybe helping on social media, reach out. As I promised, I'm going to tell you about Techsoup now. So Techsoup is a nonprofit like yourself that connects you with the tools, both hardware and software you need to succeed. There's a whole pile of amazing partners in the Techsoup catalog, everyone from big players like Microsoft and Google, to DocuSign, to Zoom, which we're using right now, to Linksys, to Adobe. Basically, if you've got a software need, before you do anything, check out that Techsoup catalog, because we want to save you a whole pile of money. Here's an example of what that actually could look like. So say you're a small nonprofit, you've got 10 staffers. This is me putting together a bit of a bundle for some pretty typical needs for what your organization would need. And as you can see, the savings are pretty significant. And that's just in 1 year for basically how we can make sure that you have the core software you need, everything from email to an operating system to some security software. And did I mention, by the way, that Techsoup account is totally free? So get on it, start that up, and then we can see if we can start saving you some money. And if we can't, so be it. Keep going, find what you need. You should also know that NP Tech Club Austin is on Facebook, and that's currently the core place where you can find upcoming events and connect with the community members. So if you have not done so already and you are a Facebooker, definitely go and join the group. And then Carolyn's going to tell you lots more about this. She's basically scheduled for the whole year, but here's the next two events. You should get into your calendar right now. So in February, we're going to be talking about how to humanize your digital marketing. And then in March, Carolyn and the team will be talking about big tech and translating the jargon. That sounds like it's going to be super fun. So make sure you get that into your calendars.
Thanks.
And now it's over to Carolyn. Have fun, everyone. See you soon.
Okay, let me share my, yay, that's it. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for being with us through thick and thin during 2020. We transitioned easily online. And thanks to Eli and NetSquared, we just got on there right away. So that's been good. And we're kind of training ourselves to continue forward in that vein in 2021. We are, as Eli noted, a part of a network of tech clubs across the nation and the world. We're a partner with N10 and with NetSquared, which is, as you know now, a division of Techsoup. Programs are free. We're all volunteer, and our speakers speak for free, and we're really grateful for their expertise and their willingness to share that with us. This is the schedule of what the talks we have coming up. We are talking to 2 more guest speakers. And so with that, we'll have only a handful of programs left. If you have ideas, needs, topics, please send any volunteer a note on Facebook, and we would love to hear from you. So thanks. Want to put in a good word for Sean, who helped set up the vast majority of these. He just really has a great expertise in tech. So we are lucky to have him on board. And wanted to put in a good word for last year's sponsors. HEB was our big champion. That was when actually we needed funding to operate because we were meeting in person. So the as we went online, we ended up donating a portion of our proceeds with their permission to Meals on Wheels Central Texas and the Food Bank of Central Texas. So we kind of had a partnership going that way. But HEB was really great to help us. And we're not quite sure what our needs are this year, because going online has really changed the game for us and made it less expensive, a little easier to manage. But we are Happy Capital Factory is signed in as a partner for this year. And if we go back and meet in person, that will be great. We'll have a home. But also they are listing our events on their website, on their event page. And so we really appreciate their positive energy and spirit. They're there in an instant if we have a question or need help. Really nice. And Trianon has been a sponsor for 3-4 years now. I mean, they've been so generous. So I do have a message out to our volunteer Stacy to see if they'll consider it for 2021. So there you go. I'm in the midst of sponsorships and clarifying and setting them in place. And then I wanted to thank all our volunteers, several of whom are watching today. We really appreciate their help. It takes a village, as they say. So I really appreciate the endorsement, the sharing, the great ideas, and help very much. And also links, here they are. Once I get a little bit more information about this coming year finalized, I'll update all of this information on this PowerPoint, and I will post that online so you can have access to it 24/7 as you need it. So thanks for being here. And I'm going to let Nevin introduce himself, and I'm going to get out of here.
Okay.
Stop sharing, Nevin. There you go.
Thank you, Carolyn. It is a pleasure to be here. Everyone, my name is Nevin Kamath, and I'm a business consultant, coach, and trainer based here in the Austin area. In terms of, or by way of introduction, I have really always been interested in consulting and helping organizations. I grew up in Texas with a couple of parents who were both entrepreneurs, and hearing their conversations around the dinner table about managing their staff or investing in new technologies, dealing with customers, that sort of thing. That really kind of ignited my interest in becoming a consultant and helping businesses and organizations and nonprofits achieve what they were hoping to achieve. So I started my career working for a big consulting firm, working on problems that Fortune 500 companies kind of had, and working with the executives from those companies. And then about 8 years ago, I started my own consulting firm, Kamath Coaching and Consulting, in which I've done a mix of training, coaching, and consulting, a wide variety of clients. And more recently have been focused on nonprofit clients as well. So I've been doing this for about 10 years in terms of consulting, and have really enjoyed in the more recent past working with clients who have been looking to do strategic planning and engage in goal setting, but I've struggled with the fact that we've moved into a new kind of way of doing business. And what I've found is by using tools like Miro and some of the cool software tools that are out there today, we've been able to replicate much of the in-person experience, and then some. And so I'm eager to share with you today kind of what those tools look like and how you can, and kind of share with you how you can use them in your own practice. So what I thought I would do is share a brief agenda for our conversation today, to kind of get everyone familiarized with what I'm hoping to do. So let me go ahead and do that now. And so what you probably will be seeing, and I'll be kind of toggling between a few different presentations. But we've, Eli and Carolyn have been very gracious in kind of giving us an overview of Techsoup and the Nonprofit Tech Club. I'd like to share a brief overview of what strategic planning looks like, so that we can kind of frame the conversation around strategic planning and SWOT analyses. Then I want to do a little bit of an exercise in the tool called Miro, which you can access at the link above on this screen. I know it's kind of a long link, so when we get to that point, I'll drop it in the chat box and I'll be sharing my screen. So for those of you at home, you'll be able to watch the shared screen of the Miro session, who are watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube. Then I want to do a SWOT analysis, which is a commonly used strategic planning tool. And I'd like to do it in Miro with the members of the Nonprofit Tech Club here. We'll be looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the organization, some opportunities and threats, and then dabble a little bit in what's called a TOES analysis. And then maybe have a little bit of time for reflections, comments, and feedback towards the end. Dale and Carolyn, does that sound like a good agenda for you? Yeah? Excellent.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'll, let's see, let's jump into another presentation. This presentation is one that I've given to the Nonprofit Hub, which is a great website for webinars about nonprofit issues and techniques for founders and executive directors of nonprofits. The title of the presentation is Simple Strategic Planning, and what I'd like to do is kind of present this overview to you again to just kind of refamiliarize people with what strategic planning is, and kind of just lay a foundation for what the work that we're going to be doing in this workshop today. So if you think about strategic planning, the model that I like to share with clients is a model that kind of looks at a circle or a cycle of tools that you can consider using. You've got your kickoff. You've got what is a situational analysis, an investigation into your purpose. You have the option of using advanced tools, which some organizations choose to use and some necessarily don't. Also, an investigation into the issues or goals that are facing your organization. Oftentimes you put those into a document and then you conduct a strategy review on a fairly regular basis to evaluate how you're delivering and executing on the goals that you set out for yourself. So that's really the high level overview of strategic planning. Zooming in a little bit on each of these, you've got, again, the kickoff where you're going to ask yourself if you're ready. You're going to gather all the documentation that you need in one place: financial documentation, strategic documentation, and other things that'll help your strategic planning team kind of understand what's going on with your business, whether it's your Form 990, at a very, very high level, your profit and loss, or sorry, not your profit and loss, but your income statement, and other kinds of statements that will be helpful for you. You've got the situational analysis where, and here's where you kind of conduct both an internal analysis, speaking with your volunteers, your clients if you have them, your staff members, as well as as an external analysis, kind of looking out into the environment of the organization. And a great way to do this and kind of solidify this information is with a SWOT, which I'll be speaking about shortly. Then oftentimes you want to develop and kind of hone your mission, vision, and values. So, your mission is kind of your raison d'etre, your purpose, and I've written about this recently. A lot of missions, the best missions can be succinctly summarized in 8 to 10 words, and are memorable and can be shared easily. You've got your vision, your values, your basic purpose of your organization. Some of these additional tools that organizations like to use include things like a theory of change you probably have heard of, a program portfolio, in some cases, evaluating the business model with something called the business model canvas. You might want to look at your organizational capacity and leadership capacity, and/or build a strategy map. There's a lot of different strategy tools that are out there, and I just like to kind of combine them and categorize them as advanced tools that are really optional for the strategic planning process, which doesn't always need that level of detail or specificity, but can be enabled and empowered by it, should you choose to use some of these tools. Next, what I've laid out here is, again, an issues or goals-based approach, kind of honing in on what are the organizational issues that you're facing, or what are the goals that you set out for yourself, and then kind of cascading those and developing those into objectives and tasks that fall down to the team level or the organizational unit level, or the individual level. Then, you want to draft and socialize a strategic plan document, which can be very helpful to kind of getting everyone on the same page and helping people understand the work that it's been done, and helping you kind of think through the strategic implications of what you've done. And then again, reviewing your strategy on a quarterly, biannual, or annual basis. So I've walked through this cycle. I've given you an overview of each one of these things. But what I'd really like to focus on in today's session is the SWOT, which is a very helpful tool for situational analysis. And one technology that is helping the strategic planning process, not just with the SWOT, other processes as well, but it helps the process of sort of brainstorming and whiteboarding, is a tool called Miro. Miro and another tool called Mural. They're made by competing companies, but both provide a very similar level of functionality. They replicate the experience of having access to a whiteboard. So when you think about strategic planning sessions, you might think about, lots of whiteboards, Post-it notes, sometimes pictures and diagrams, just like really rich in-person experiences. Well, despite what we're going through with the pandemic and with COVID, some of these experiences can be replicated online with tools like Miro and Mural. And, there's a lot of benefits to using these tools, because you can write more quickly, you can access them asynchronously, and, you can port them into PDF files and other files very easily. So let me go ahead and put in the chat box the link for Miro, and I'll also share my screen so that you can see it. So let me see. Let's see in the chat. I've just dropped it in the chat. So if Carolyn and Dale and Sean, when he gets back, if you guys are interested in kind of joining up and meeting me there, I will see you there. The password is also NP Tech Club. And let me go ahead and share my screen. How's it going? Are you able to join in?
It's just taking a little bit of time to load up on my screen, and that's because Zoom takes so much of my
Processing power.
Wireless. So, oh, right, here we go. Popped up. Hold on.
I'm there.
You there?
But I'm seeing a wider screen.
Okay. A wider screen than me. Yeah, you can kind of pull the screen if you click the mouse button on the left-hand side so that it turns into a hand. You can kind of pull the screen so that you can look at the same screen as me, that it says, "Welcome to the Nonprofit Tech Club, ATX whiteboard. Please grab a Post-it note from the menu on the left-hand side, place it on this frame, and write your full name on it." See, Carolyn has put her name in. And if you've done that, see what other tools you can use on the left-hand side that are interesting. Like you might want to connect some of the Post-it notes together. So I'm just connecting Carolyn and my Post-it note. Just as a little, you can doodle a little bit. You can add comments.
I still can't find the Post-it notes.
Oh, no, that's fine. Dale, that's why we're doing this. So the Post-it, so do you have a menu on the left-hand side of your screen?
Yeah, it does not look a lot like yours.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Or maybe, let me see what I'm looking at. I'm seeing you guys be successful. So which one on your screen is the
Post-it note? It's this
Post-it?
one. It says, or sticky note.
It's a sticky note. Oh, I do have a sticky note.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
I like this color better. Okay. But this is, I can see how you could, I see this connection line, so I could do like, hopefully, there.
Yeah, there you go. So we've played with the sticky note. We've played, excuse me, not the Post-it, the sticky note. We played with the connection line, Dale. If you want to connect your Post-it note with mine or with Carolyn's, You can use the connection line on the left-hand side. There's the pen, which we can play with if you'd like, or the highlighter. You can kind of turn it into either one. You can also use what's called a smart drawing. So
I'm sure I look so stupid as I'm like looking at this web page and trying to draw on it, but okay, so we can do sticky notes and put ideas up here, a bunch of concepts, and you can easily delete them. I like that part.
yeah.
Can throw them out there and you can get rid of them.
You can also upload pictures from the web or from your device. So I want to just kind of invite you to play with that as well. I'm going to play with it as well and see if I can upload a cool pic of Santa Catalina.
There. I uploaded my emoji from Apple.
Nice. Your Memoji, I think is what it's called.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I had to change mine recently because I cut my hair and I stopped wearing my glasses. So that's what it's called.
Okay, so that's fun. You can add photos. Oh, a mind map. Now that's fun. An icon, tables and charts. Very good. So where does this lead us, Nevin? Now we can do what examples other than now we've been hacking it, but.
No, I just wanted to kind of get us familiar with it first. Let's see, let me just put this picture up there, see how that works. Yeah, we got Catalina Island up there. So, okay, we played with a number of tools. On the left-hand side, there are a couple of other things that I wanted to just share with you. So there's this thing called a frame. And if you see this, the kind of outline of the square that we're working in, now it's in blue because I've clicked on it. You can think about this as like the unit. It's like one of the basic units of graphical representation or work that can be manipulated within the system. So you can export frames, you can play inside of frames. You don't always have to use frames, but I like to use them because they can be exported as PDF files.
Oh.
So, and you can, and this is what they look like on the left-hand side. You know, you've got a phone frame, tablet, browser, 1:1, 4:3 ratio, 16:9 ratio, etc. And then up here, you can, you know, save as a PDF or save the board, you know, save the entire board as a template. You can export to spreadsheet, you can save as images, etc. So, yeah, what do we think so far? Is it easy to use, hard to use? Are you pretty comfortable with it, guys?
Pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Dale? I like the idea of being able to, you know, do all this brainstorming and envisioning and reevaluating everything, and then being able to put it into a PDF.
Yeah.
A lot. Instead of, you know, how it is, there's somebody there a lot of times in strategic planning, they're just writing everything down.
Yeah.
And then they go up and they immediately try and capture all the stickies off the whiteboard. You know? Yep. And it's like, you never know if you're going to put it back together to where it really was originally. So
yeah, that picture is wonderful.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm glad you guys are liking it. So I'm going to go ahead and move my screen to the right a little bit, and you can do the same by clicking the mouse on the left-hand side. So until it turns into, if you click it and it turns into like a hand, you can use the hand to kind of grab the screen and pull it a little bit. So you can kind of pull it to the left where the arrow is. And once you do that, what you'll be looking at is a new frame, which will kind of look like a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats matrix. And you can zoom in on that frame. So what you want to do is kind of zoom in so that it looks a little bit like my screen. And you can zoom in at the bottom right hand of your screen. There should be a zoom to 100% or 70%. I've got 75% up, and that seems to be working well. And then once you do that, why don't we think about our little group, the Nonprofit Tech Club, and play with this a little bit and think about, what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses?
There we go. Well, our strengths, do you want me to say what they are? Do you want me to, what?
Yeah, I would say find a Post-it note that's right below the SWOT and just start populating it with whatever you think would be a strength or weakness. And we'll play in those two squares right now.
Okay.
Hey, Nevin, how did you get to move?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed the mouse part.
Sure. No, see where my, I don't know if you can see my screen now, but I'm hovering over a mouse that's on the left-hand side of my screen.
Okay.
And that sort of, if you click that, that'll toggle between a mouse and a hand. What you want is the hand, which will let you kind of pull the screen to the left-hand side by clicking and pulling.
Oh, I had it for a second there. There it is. Okay.
And you can kind of toggle between the mouse and the hand.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, it's kind of a tiny note. This is fun. Okay.
How does it look, Dale? Are you with us? Excellent. So I see on strengths, we've got Carolyn, technology setup, Techsoup partnership, devoted volunteers, Dale and Carolyn. And the weaknesses, poor Carolyn is doing most of everything.
Yes, very true. Everything, really. She's amazing.
She's a phenom.
That is a weakness, though. That's like not good. It's like it's helpful, of course, but you just need somebody who wants to do more on there.
I think it's amazing how much you do. But
sometimes I do too, really. Well, okay, I'm going to put like this different way to word things.
I think if you double click the Post-it note, it'll give you the ability to write in it.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can see that one of the kind of, down back to draw side, downsides of using the guest feature is that without having accounts for each of you, there's no way to tell exactly who's who between the guest visionary and the guest maker. I could just ask you, but in terms of like a really large group, it's hard to see, who's who unless you have like an enterprise level account for each person. Just as a FYI.
Quickie question, Carolyn, how are you getting that font? I have a giant font.
Oh, see where it says text there?
Yes.
It's like it shows capital A and little a, then click on that and there's another type of writing in there. Although the way these, it's like I'm looking on the Miro screen and then I'm looking on Nevin's presentation screen and the writing looks different.
Oh, really?
But also on Nevin's, the master page, I kind of stretched it out to be able to read it. Which I'm not sure. I hope I spelled everything right on there, but okay. So
we've done strengths and weaknesses. It looks like we're doing just a little bit more work there. Do we feel pretty comfortable with what we've put out on the strengths and weaknesses side? Is there anything else that we feel is missing?
I was going to say something about better turnout, something drawing more people on the presentations, but as Carolyn says, maybe a lot of them are going to our videos, but that's been just an issue forever and ever.
We've had more visitation in 2020 than ever because we've been online. And so with the NetSquared page, the Facebook group page, and eventually YouTube, where the recordings go, people can watch 24/7. So I guess I would say it's better. In that, even if the actual attendance doesn't seem to be high, but
I'm thinking we should stick to online.
I think it's just the nature of the times we're in.
Yes.
So why don't we just take a look at the opportunities and threats portion, and then we can kind of zoom in on some of these strategies. So what these represent are environmental factors that present opportunities or present threats to the organization. And so, brainstorm a little bit and think about what those could be, and do the same exercise if you can. Put some Post-it notes in those sections, and then we'll see what we come up with. It might take a second. We might be a little bit quiet when we're doing it, but try to think about it.
You know what? It's interesting. Did I move that Post-it right there, or did you?
You did, but I played with it.
Because I'm on two screens, so I didn't know if that was actually me on there or not. So I was like, wait. I think I'm going to, I'm having trouble with my screen scrolling up there, but.
You can go to the bottom right and you can zoom out if that's easier.
Well, it is, but for some reason I can't, I'm just trying to, hate to bog the process down. You guys just keep going. No comment.
Oh my goodness.
So if you have 50 employees in a meeting on strategic planning, that's a lot of Post-it notes. Do they just overlay one another or what?
That's a lot of people to have in a meeting. I've never had 50 people in a meeting. I've had a lot, but not that many. In some cases, you can do it in waves. You can have them, or you can have fewer number of people. But 50 people is a lot.
So for really this kind of an exercise, you really do need a more manageable.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
And less, something like that.
Yeah.
It is fun moving those little Post-its around. So you have a moderator like you, Nevin, like everybody takes the time to write their notes, share their comments, and then you can, from your master dashboard, you can zoom in and then recap, kind of get people.
Yeah, I can do that. We can vote, and I can kind of help the group think about which of the Post-it notes or the ideas they most favor. That the prioritization takes time, but it's also an important part of the process.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, can you ask people to get on Miro? This is just a thought in advance.
Yeah.
And do the work in advance and then come together with someone like yourself and work through it and maybe add, subtract, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's something that can be used asynchronously. I haven't actually done that. It's something I'd like to do with one of my clients soon for the next strategic planning session that comes up in Q1 2021, excuse me. Yeah, I'm interested to see if people engage with it, if they're interested in kind of working on this separately, or if they need to be kind of in the same room in some virtually to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think with strategic planning, sometimes they're really, well, if you're on Zoom like you are right now, you get to see everybody and their expressions and everything. But in a room, that's one of the benefits, that you really have a sense of everyone's presence and they're getting up and putting their Post-it note and all that on there. But
sure,
just translating it to a virtual space. But if it was me, I would want to ask them to do their homework in advance, like learn how to do Miro, take the demo, and then go ahead and, just to get the ball rolling, do one, fill out this one chart with your SWOT analysis or whatever it is, what your initial thoughts are. And then when you hit the actual meeting in person, you can deal with all of the Post-its and maybe add some and take away some and get the discussion going. So it's kind of like, it makes sense to use Zoom as a partner with Miro.
Yeah, they work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
They do. And you can, if we had a more, people in this, in the session at the moment who were in Zoom, we could use kind of those Zoom breakout rooms, and you can kind of see how they were, we could split up the work in terms of having one group do strengths and weaknesses, another group do opportunities and threats, and then, kind of just explain the two to each other and then kind of go into the strategies. But let's go into the strategies piece. So the gray boxes on my screen, the strategies to make use of opportunities to our strengths, etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's called a TOES analysis. It's very straightforward. It's called TOES just because it's like the reverse of SWOT, because we're kind of using the SWOT to come up with these strategies. But the idea is to overlay, for example, an organization's strengths with its opportunities, and to come up with strategies that address those. And so what I like to do with clients on a quarterly basis is to go through this and exercise. It is helpful because it provides like a real snapshot as to what opportunities and strategies exist for the organization. And so as you think about this, be aware that this isn't the full map of strategies you can have, but it is a map that takes into account your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so what I would encourage you to do now is to look at those 4 squares and think about, okay, well, what strategies can we come up with that address these areas that we've just discussed? And I'll try to jump in as well.
Well, let's see. Well,
I don't know what to say, but somehow add excitement or something.
I mean, the thing is, we've had really great volunteer support. Dale and I have done the bulk of it, although Stacy has come in and Suzanne has come in and helped, and Sean and everybody with great program ideas, which we really are grateful for. So, I mean, I kind of think we've grown our volunteer base, and we don't even know all the strengths that they have, and it would be good to know that, because right now we're kind of in the same, Carolyn does everything mode, which really I'm just used to doing it all, all the online stuff. So I guess I would say the opportunities are all these great volunteers who've joined on, if we can just get them going and owning the club and wanting to take on a little bit more work there. And really, I mean, we want to keep our intent and our Techsoup sponsorships. That is a huge strength. And Capital Factory, really having the backing of those 3, their awareness of what we're doing is, we have to keep that going for sure.
Whoops.
I think maybe you're working in 2 different boxes. One's a text box and one's a Post-it note. Dale.
Okay.
If you double click the Post-it note, you might be able to write in it directly.
It keeps wanting to put in this huge font.
Or you know what you could do? You could right click it and go to edit, and that'll help you. That'll do it.
Ennui. I love that threat. COVID so far hasn't been much of a threat to me. It's like made everybody go online. So we went online and we've done great.
I can't get rid of that text box.
If you click on it,
show up.
Click on it and just delete it. Like I just hit delete and mine went away.
Shoot.
But
I got it. Yay.
I decided I would only be taking up a lot of time by getting in there and actually doing any more little Post-it notes, the virtual notes. So, we need to, obviously we need to find ways to engage our volunteers, Nevin, like you. After this talk, that was kind of a big thing just to do that, but we need to definitely do that. Let's see. Strategies to prevent threats. Well,
sorry, I'm trying. I'm having technical difficulties. I can't get rid of another text box.
What are you trying to write, Dale?
Devise a way to increase ownership.
I'll help you out.
There you go.
And And I think if you think, Dale, you can delete that text box if you're.
I'm trying. Okay, it went away.
So what else do we have here? So devise a way to increase ownership. Does anything else come to mind when you kind of look at these different ideas and kind of collating them? The idea here, so if we take this like attendance, for example, I'm going to copy it and paste it. So if we were to combine the attendance idea with the sponsors if we meet again idea, we want to increase our sponsors and if we meet again, and we want to address attendance. The idea is to make use of opportunities to minimize weaknesses. Do we think that in-person sponsors will help us with attendance?
No.
I agree.
Basically, we just need people to show up and have input, and that's all.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that we're, it's all volunteer effort, so it's pretty straightforward and not too complicated. But now we, more marketing. We might, I'll tell you what, we might like have a presence, like a dedicated Twitter feed, a dedicated LinkedIn page. I think those would probably help. I just haven't had time myself to do it, but it makes sense to maybe, be more of a presence on other social media platforms, not just Facebook, Facebook is great, but there's some other great ones as well. Like we use a hashtag to share information on social, but what if we had a handle instead? I think that would be definitely an idea. Just it's going to take time for someone to manage that.
Yeah, maybe something like a social media director or something like that.
Someone who really has a good handle on those platforms and wouldn't mind getting it set up. And then, once you set it up and you post information, it's one thing, but you have to clean house too after a while and remove old and dated information. Like when COVID hit and we had all the in-person meetings, I had to go through and clean out the Facebook page a lot, so people didn't get the idea we were meeting in person, which we weren't, of course, but that's just, but more social media probably would be helpful. We just need more help with that. Carl helps a lot on the Facebook group page. He is really good at that. And so maybe I can get Carl Webb to help with that. But anyway.
Yeah, something to think about. So what I'm going to do now is take this frame and see if I can export it as a PDF file that we can use, or that we can have in our Slack channel. So let's see. I think I can do that by right clicking. Sometimes I get confused. Export as image. I think I've got it.
PDF, yeah, great.
So I've got it in I'm going to go ahead and mail it to Eli and Carolyn.
That was easy.
Yeah, where did you click?
I'll show you in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, so I clicked the, I'm not sure if you can see my screen, but if you can, I clicked this sort of like that border edge area that's now in blue.
Yes.
And then when I did that, it popped up this little menu that starts with letter and goes all the way to this little eyeball on the right-hand side. And then I clicked the three little dots that are on that menu that say more and export as image. As soon as I export as image, then it'll export it as small, medium, large JPG or a vector PDF.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm going to cancel on that.
Yeah,
so
of
we've
course.
got a SWOT analysis, which is, sorry.
I was going to say now, of course, I want to get in there and polish up all those little Post-its, but never mind.
Yeah, well, you still have the ability to, because you have the access and you have the password, and this will stay live.
Okay.
So that's something you can still do.
But you can see that might be like, that maybe is the exercise for the volunteer team, of which we have several new volunteers, which is great, is to actually tell them to go in there and fill it out. Because I will tend to go in there and go, well, we have this and we have that, but you know, that's why. You know, we need kind of input from all of our sources. So I don't know if we can have permission for a couple of days or not, but
yeah, sure. I mean, I'll keep it open. So I'll keep it open as long as you need it.
Maybe as follow-up to your talk today, we could send the link and say, okay, we did a SWOT analysis. We need you to get in there. And then we're going to share the page with the Post-its between now and say Friday or something.
That sounds good.
It's a really great tool. Somebody went to incredible care in creating this. It's really, really interesting.
So any final thoughts? It's 7:30. Any final thoughts on this tool, or how you might be able to use this in the future?
No, it sounds great. It sounds really, really helpful. And I think your comments about it working so well with Zoom and breakout rooms. And so when people go into a breakout room, they all have they're on Miro. Do they just see their little section, their job that they're working on?
Yeah, they're not able to see a shared screen from a facilitator in Zoom, because when you go into a breakout room, you know, you're only able to see the people who are in your breakout room. So ideally, you want to have as many facilitators as you have breakout rooms, so that you can have a facilitator who's helping the group along. That doesn't always happen, but sometimes it can happen.
So from Miro, can you then go, okay, we're out of our breakout groups, come back together, boom.
Yeah.
Here's the big mess with everybody in there.
Yeah, and because there's two separate technologies, right? They're interacting with everything at the same time. So if you were to have breakout rooms, you might have one room focused on just the strengths and weaknesses, or just, you know, one area of the chart, and then another room focused on another area of the chart. Just that would be the point of having a breakout room, right? Is you're wanting to kind of divide and conquer. And then, you know, you bring them together and you talk about what you came up with and how you did it. But people are able to see you do it as you're doing it, if they want to like just look at your work.
Well, maybe here's our assignment. We give this, we'll tomorrow morning send out an email with your with the link and say, okay, volunteers, this is your job. You have to get on there, add your Post-it notes and your comments, and then Nevin will take all of that and review it and give us some findings after that.
Sure.
Like
if we give them
after some
if we give them like a week, and you know, the thing about that is that it can get a little messy if people don't know exactly like what they're doing. Because you can, so I'm glad that we saved the file as it is, because people can like move things around so much that, or like change things that you like lose the meaning of what you were trying to do. But I think if it's a small group of people and you trust their technology skills, that might be, you know, something we could consider, and we can consider doing it for this one just to see how it works.
Yeah, I think if we, you know, just ask them to get on there, maybe if you provide a link to a demo of how to use Miro kind of, and then here's the link for the tech club, log in and get on there. We're looking for you to fill out this, you know, whatever, each box, put some information in there, and then we'll come back and have Nevin will give us a little recap.
Yeah, sure.
Which you can do in just writing, or if you want to do just a little video of yourself saying, hey, here's what I say. We could put it
Sure.
on Facebook
Sure.
or something. So,
Well, thanks guys for entertaining me and for engaging in this process. This has been nice, and I appreciate your time.
really, such a great. I love seeing virtual sticky notes. Also, I'm really a sustainable living person, so no real sticky notes is.
Yes. Yeah. Once I got used to the technology, then it made me think. And I love the explanations they have in each of the blocks.
Yeah.
They're very helpful.
Hmm.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to tell us, Nevin?
No, this was pretty.
Coming
this
up
was,
or anything?
I might have a podcast coming, or a interactive session with the Invited MBA program, which is a program here in town that I might be doing in February. I'll be posting that to my website, and folks can maybe contact them if they can see if they can join. But I don't have any immediate events coming up. But you can always reach me on Facebook or Twitter or my website, kamathcc.com.
Okay.
And yeah, it's I love doing this work, so I'm always game for a new project.
Okay, well, we're going to put all our volunteers to work, see what happens.
Okay.
It's the experiment.
Sounds good.
Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Kevin.
Sure.
Next, I'm going to
Kevin,